But if that fool could win, he'd carry home a purse so heavy he'd be a king. Which was precisely why Maddox had taken the fight. A large part of him regretted that now. The match had gone on too long. Fentis's strikes had been unrelenting. He had battered Maddox with waves of dirt that now coated his olive skin and dark hair. He'd knocked Maddox down with hunks of rope and sharp, rusty fish hooks, debris he'd picked up from the swirling earth. Over and over, Maddox had fallen, only to rise again, to take another blast of gravel from his attacker's spindly fingers. If Maddox could get close enough, he could beat him. But to do that, he had to stay upright. "Take the fall, pig stock!" A male voice rose above the others, eliciting an eruption of laughter. Maddox brushed off the insult, a common reminder that even though the undivine made up half the world's population, those without power were no more useful than cows, sheep, or pigs. "Give me strength," he muttered to the Father God, his stare alternating between his attacker's broad forehead and his hands, which were now resting at his sides. A familiar rush filled Maddox's veins, cool against the oppressive heat of the night. "Almost," a voice whispered in his mind. "Almost." Fentis smiled, half his teeth black holes in his mouth, but even from 20 paces away, Maddox could see the sheen of sweat on the other man's brow and the sag in his shoulders. Still, it was something else, something deeper that stirred Maddox's unusual sixth sense. He could feel the fatigue as if it came from his own muscles, a dip in energy, like some might feel the coming rain. A subtle change no one else could perceive. The ore was growing heavy in Fentis's blood. Those with Geoea could pull only so much strength from the earth, too far past the threshold, and the power turned to poison, making the mightiest fighters as slow and clumsy as any undivine. Most knew their limit and did not push past it. Others, like Fentis, were too proud or stupid to quit. This was precisely what Maddox had been waiting for. A quick glance to his left revealed a skinny stonemason on the edge of the crowd, his tunic stained with telltale splashes of gray mortar. "Pigstock!" the stonemason called again, his grin, familiar to only Maddox, as wide as a sickle moon. He raised his fist, encouraging those closest to join the chant of "Fentis! Fentis! Fentis!" The people called for the bookmaker, the gold coins in their outstretched hands glinting off the tall torches surrounding the boatyard. Maddox tapped his left fist on his thigh twice. To the crowd, it would look like a nervous tick, but the stonemason's dark hair fell over one eye as he dipped his head. "Submit, boy," called Fentis, though at 18 Maddox couldn't have been more than 5 years younger than him. "Or I'll bury you in a grave so deep not even your mother will know where to start digging." The crowd roared. "That's not very nice," Maddox answered, tapping his thigh faster. Fentis grinned and, with a snarl, swung his thin arm toward the ground. Before he could touch the earth, Maddox dropped to one knee, digging his right hand into the tossed soil. The quake began instantly, cutting Fentis's battle cry short. Maddox gritted his teeth as the ground dipped beneath his palm and rose up like a wave before him. The flying gravel was thin, not nearly as dense as Fentis's efforts had been. Still, it surprised Maddox's opponent. When the blast hit Fentis in the chest, it knocked him back 3 full steps. Maddox lunged up, sprinting through the cloud of dust toward the other man. He might not have been trained in Xiphos or have mastered the skills of arena fighting, but he'd been lifting rocks at the quarry since he was a child, and his back and shoulders could carry a weight twice his own. 3 more steps, and Maddox had closed the space between them. Fentis's eyes, red from the dust, went wide just before Maddox arched back his elbow.